Let's put these numbers in our CAS. You're going to have an X column and a C column. Okay, so let's go. Let's put that in our calculators. X column and a C column. Let's go down a little bit. There you go. So X column and a C. All right, so for that C column, or for this question, sorry, before we start, let's have a read through it. A football club wishes to purchase pies at the cost of $2.15 each. If the cost of, if C is the cost, and X is the number of pies, complete the table showing the amount of money needed to purchase from 40 to 50 pies. Okay, so we need to figure out what's the cost of purchasing 40 to 50 pies. Now, can anybody tell me, just by looking at that question, how could you represent that as a rule? We haven't really done much. This was mainly in year 10 where we did this. Okay, but your rule, remember, looks like this. Y equals mx plus c. I'll get you to do it as well, Elion. Sorry, we'll go a plus bx. Remember last year, we learned mx plus c? Same thing as this, yeah? They're all basically the same, except the only difference is this changed to b and this changed to a. Okay, and you can see that you can also flip them around. So basically, in my formula, y is whatever the RV is, x is the EV, a is the y-intercept, b is the gradient. Now, if you have a look at this question, can anyone tell me what is the EV and the RV?
EV is X.
EV is X, so number of pies, so we can just call this, okay, number of pies. You don't have to write this. And then what would my RV be? Cost, good. So the number of pies determines the cost. And what would my y-intercept and gradient be? So is there a y-intercept here, or is there a starting amount? Can anyone think or see? Is there a y-intercept? Good. So there is no y-intercept. Why is that? Because there's no starting amount. It just says that each pie costs $2.15. So in my formula, it's just going to be $2.15 times number of pies. That's my formula right there. Okay. So for that means if I'm going to fill out my table, I'm going to use this formula. Okay. So depending on the number of pies, each one is $2.15 each. So that's what we're going to put in here. Now on our calculator, okay, there's the long way of doing this, which is this way, where you can go $2.15, okay, times 40, and then you'd put that in here, 86. Then you can go again, okay, being a chump, make this 41, okay, and you can keep repeating the process. And it does take a while, okay, and then you can do 42, okay, but you don't want to do that, okay, because it takes way too long to do. So that's why we have this table. So in our table, we've made my X column, I've made my C column. So over here in my C column, just in the second row here, I'm going to press the equals button. So C equals, and the rule I determined was 2.15 times number of pies, which was X. So 2.15 times X. X is referring to this column here, X. So if you do that and you press enter, just make this variable reference. Okay, that might come up. Just make it variable, and then it'll work it out for you. Okay, so there's all your answers. It does it for you already. Really easy. It's easier than doing it one by one as well, because it does take a while. So this will do it for you. Okay, let's try one more, and then I'll do 3C really quickly. So another question here that we can do. Question 2. Actually, let's do question 3, because this has a y-intercept in it. So question 3, it gives us the formula. Okay. So we'll do question 3. So put these numbers in your CAS, guys, for question 3. Oops. So we'll put our numbers in after this. So put these numbers in for your CAS, question 3. Just skip, maybe we don't even need these numbers because we can fill it in. The calculator will do it for us. So just put in N and C again. for question 3. Okay, we got it. We got the numbers. Slow pokes. So put those numbers in.
That formula.
Yeah, so if you've already understand how to do it, write that formula in your table. But if you don't, you can follow me and I will show you how to do it. So it'll fill it in for you. Where's your CAS?
I need to.
You need to.
Because every time I type something, it comes up with password, so I don't have
Okay. Password? Passed on.
past ones that I've done before.
Oh, that's why I said start a new document.
I don't know how to.
Okay, if you don't know how to start a new document, really quickly, just go home and then go in your document. And then just don't save it, or you can save it. It's up to you. Alright, new document, save it or don't save it, and it'll make a new one. Alright, got our numbers. Easy. So same thing, just on the second column, second row of that C column, you're going to put in that formula, which is this. C equals 40 plus 0.18n. So type in equals. You don't actually need to write the first variable, just press equals. And then the formula was 40 plus 0.18 times n. Okay, and then you go enter, make it variable reference. Yep, okay, so for that one, so you go equals, are you following, Bobby? Equals 40 plus 0.18 times n, and then enter. Okay, it's already there.
What was it? 40 plus.
0.18 times n. So when you go here, Bobby asks, how do you make this variable reference? Just click on it. And then select variable reference. Does that make sense? Yep. Click on it, make it variable reference, and then OK. And that'll do all of the values for you, and then you just fill out the table. And then the good thing is, what if I wanted to make this into a graph? What do? Control I, data and stats. Make this N, and this was C. And there's my graph. And then if I wanted to make a line, menu, analyze, regression, A plus BX, there's my formula. Easy. All right, all there for you. And then you'd interpret it. All right, the next thing that I wanted to go through was just in chapter 3C. If you look at the work there for 3C, it's basically the same as what we did in 3A, but for the people that weren't here last week, oh yeah, by the way, with 3B, just do questions 1 to 6. That's it. Okay, 1 to 6. That's all we need to do.
You have to do like 1 and then 3 because one you already did it.
Then if we've already done it, then you don't need to. Alright, so for chapter 3C, these ones are really easy. All you're going to do is use your solve function on your CAS. So the solve function is what we use to solve formulas on our calculators. So we'll start a new document for this. So you go new document and then go add calculator for this one. We need to use the solve function. So quick recap on how to use the solve function.
Is that just all 3C?
Yeah, that's all 3C. Just solve. Yep, so on our calculator, just for the ones that weren't here last week, there's a function here called solve where we use it to solve formulas. Okay, you can either go menu and then go algebra and then click on solve, or you just literally type in the word solve. That works too. Bracket, and then what you do is you get your formula. So let's say for this one here, x plus 6 equals 15. So let's type that in. X plus 6 equals 15. And then you press comma. Which variable are you looking for? The variable x. Close the bracket. X equals 9. Okay. Equals button is the equals button under control. Comma x and then close the bracket. and it'll give you the variable for x. Let's try another one. Let's go question 2. 5x equals 15. So we'll go solve 5x equals 15, comma x. So that should equal 3. Okay, it does it for you.
So
Yep.
you have to use the calculator though. Or just-
If you don't have to, but sometimes you might come across a formula where, for example, all right, it's a good question, Elion. For example, there's a question where it says, there's a one here. You know, some of these ones might be a bit tricky. Or you might have, say for example, let's go back to this one here. All right, let's go back to, actually it's over here. Yep, so this question here, C equals 40 plus 0.18 plus n, times n. Your question might be, okay, if this is your formula, if C was 35, let's go 102 equals 40 plus 0.18 times n. What is n? Okay, how would I do this in my calculator? Well, it's the same thing. Yeah, you'd go solve, bracket, 102 equals 40 plus 0.18 times n, comma n, because I'm looking for the n variable, and that equals whatever that equals. Okay, so it works both ways, whatever variable you're looking for. Okay, so you use the solve function to solve your unknown variables. All right.